The Torah tells us, Ve'Avraham zaken baba yamim v'Adonai berach et Avraham bakol. Avraham was old, coming in days, he became old. And God blessed Abraham with kol, with everything. Says the Gemara, says Rashi, I should say. What is bakol? Maze bakol?
Maybe like
says Rashi. Bakol ole begimatria ben. What is the numerical value of the word bakol? Be, 2, chaf, lamed, 50. 52, kiminyan, ben. He says to teach you that he had a ben, he had a son. And since he had a son, he needed to marry him off. And that's why he says to Eliezer, go find a wife for my son Isaac. But you know the problem is? Why do I need a gematria to teach you that Abraham has a son? Why do I need to tell you, Bakol? 52, oh, he has a son. We already know he has a son. We already know Yitzchak was born. In the same chapter, it says over there, get a wife for my son Isaac. So why do I need Bakol?
Continuation of generation.
Зачем мне эта гематрия?
Что есть сын, продолжение рода, нет?
But why do I need a gematria? You said it to me already clearly. That what? Hashem gave Abraham a son and he called him Yitzchak. Now Rashi is telling you, oh, Bakol is a son. Why do I need that? I already know he has a son. Jacob, you hear the question? Now you have to know, Rabotai, the Torah tells us when Rivka came to greet Isaac, she's coming to his house. Yitzchak was coming from Be'er Lahai Ro'i. Where is this place, Be'er Lahai Ro'i? Says the Megaleh Amukot, he was in Gan Eden.
for 3 years.
Yitzchak Avinu was in Gan Eden for 3 years. And he didn't bring a source to this. He didn't bring a source. He says the Siftei Kohen brings a source. A few sources. First of all, wow, I was going to say, Chota Mr. Kikir, Chota, Ranchos Kumatimales, I need. Listen to this. Today must be my birthday. Now, because today we don't give secrets. Now, כי אחרי העקדה, היה יצחק בגן עדן. Yitzchak, after the Akedah, he went to Gan Eden. And he brought a proof. You see, when Eliezer came back with Rivka, Yitzchak נניבו כוסס מטריל. On דומו שתו שתות אותם מניתוס דיל. Yeah? אשתו, Hashem said, אמר הקדוש ברוך הוא, מה אעשה לעבד? שתו יום הגוזדלת לעתב הרבד לאלiezer, that he was suspected. He said to the angels, let him go alive into Gan Eden. This is Eliezer, son of Nimrod, who went alive into Gan Eden. Eliezer went in after Yitzchak came out. So we have a clear midrash that says Yitzchak was in Gan Eden. And that explains to us the beginning of the pasuk. The beginning of the pasuk says when Sarah died, who came to eulogize Sarah? It says, Vayavo Abraham lispod li Sarah. Who came to eulogize Sarah? Abraham. What happened to his son Yitzchak? Yitzchak's not going to give eulogy for his mother? You hear the question? What's the answer? He's missing. Yitzchak didn't come back home. Yitzchak for 3 years was in Gan Eden. And what does it mean, by the way? The Torah tells us,
Was it true that Sarah's soul was Rivka's?
Yitzchak was coming from Be'er Lahai Ro'i, which is in the land of the south, Eretz HaNegev. Rivka sees Yitzchak, and she fell off the camel, and she says to the servant, who is this man? He's walking to us. Says Rashi, what did she see? She saw that he was Hadur, he was beautiful, and she got scared in front of him. Says the Megaleh Amukot, what do you mean? Rivka's checking out a guy? She's saying, who's this handsome guy? No, says the Megaleh Amukot. You know what she saw? She saw a light of Gan Eden on him. You know, every person has a light. And some people could feel this light. Every person who does a mitzvah, he draws this divine light onto himself. Choose to it. 100%. 100%. 100%. No samnenia, you can feel it. We had in the Kolel 2 days ago, one guy shot on Yarkes to Yarkes. So another guy said to him, he said, you went to the mikveh today, right? He said, yeah. How do you know? He said to him, because shtot utzida yes. Shtot is this.
Is that when you give me your hand?
Shtot is this, yes. Now listen to this. So the idea is that every person has a divine light, Yosef. Every person has a divine light. Every person. And when you behave, you draw this light onto yourself greater and greater. But if you don't behave, if you misbehave, and you go on the Facebook and everywhere else, you have to know that the light, it leaves you. And sometimes, not just it's not light, sometimes it's darkness rests on you. You look at, all of us carry a divine light. When she saw Yitzchak, she said, "Wow, what is this man? Who is this person? Such a illumination this man carries." That's what it means. She saw that he was what? He was glowing. He was beaming. It was like looking at Rabbi Kanievsky. Now you have to know. Rivka saw, she looked up. She saw Yitzchak and she fell off her camel. She was mama shocked. Now Yitzchak came from where, we said? He came from Gan Eden. Gan Eden, and he started to dwell in the land of the south. What is the land of the south? Says the Gemara, if you want to be smart, you should turn a little to the south. If you want to be rich, you should turn a little to the north.
When you pray?
When you pray. Harotze lehakim yadrim. You want to be wise? Turn a little to the south. Harotze lehashir. You want to be rich? Yatspin. Turn a little bit to the north. Which? It's Mr. Rafi. When he's listening. Вы стоите east. Yeah, east. Это east. Это west. Значит, здесь north. Налево это аширут, богатство. А направо это мудрость.
No, it says over here south.
What?
This way south.
How's that? This is east.
Right here.
Yeah, that's south. That's what I said.
This side on the back corner.
It's south. This is south. This is north. This is east. This is west. When you look west to east, this is north. Okay? Go. Now the Torah writes. That's why I said on this side. All of you guys are looking at me. You're all going to be rich. Tov. I got to sit on the other side, so all of you to be smart. Now he says like this. What does it mean Yitzchak was dwelling in the land of the south? Is that in the land of the south means Yitzchak was in a place with Torah and spirituality. The south represents spirituality. Now you have to know, Yitzchak Avinu, he gives a bracha to his son Yaakov. Before he gives a bracha to his son, he smells him. And he says, the smell of my son, the clothing of my son, smells like the clothing of the field that God blessed. Which field did God bless? God blessed Gan Eden. Yitzchak was in Gan Eden before. He remembers the zapach. And now when Yaakov Avinu comes to Yitzchak, he smelled him. He says, "Ooh, reach beni." My son smells like the smell of Gan Eden. Why? Because this is where he was.
Was he blind by then?
And that's why we have to teach you. God was blessed Abraham with kol, with everything, a son. But I already know he has a son. No. He had a son, 37 years. He went to Gan Eden. A different neshama came down now.
Yeah.
And what? And now God blessed him. Bakol 52. Ben. Now Yitzchak had an upgrade of neshama. Again, it tells you he has a son. Wow, you had a son before. No, that son was already in Gan Eden. He came back. Now it's a new person. Came inside of him. And that's why the Torah needs to teach you. Same body. An upgrade of neshama. All of us, by the way, says Ari, says the Zohar, that you were born, let's say, with a level of nefesh. In your lifetime, you have to fulfill all the stupeni of nefesh and get to the level of ruach. And when you do all the stupeni of ruach, you get to the level of neshama.
How many steps?
5 steps of neshama. You do 5 steps of neshama, now you get the nefesh of atzilut. Wow! To get to nefesh of atzilut, you have to be holy like the Ben Chai. Azan Baruch. If we can get to neshama and ruach in general, that's already considered something very, very, very great. Says Rabbi Chaim, most people are born with nefesh, and they die with nefesh. Why? Because he never works on himself. He never elevates the neshama. You know, just like your iPhone, lehavdil. iPhone, iOS 14, iOS 15, iOS 16. What number are we up to now?
17.
What?
17.
17.
iOS 17 now?
Not the phone,
The iOS, the program.
Update.
Why you always need a different iOS? Because it's always upgrading. So too, Jacob was iOS 1, 2, 3, 4, you need to elevate, etc. So now like this, Rabbi Isai, says the Rabbi, you need to teach me as a son because that son already went to Gan Eden. Now you have to know something. Rivka sees Yitzchak and she fell off the camel. When she saw that Yitzchak came from Gan Eden, you know how she saw him? She saw him upside down. She saw Yitzchak upside down.
That's why she fell.
His feet was up and his head was down. I never heard of this midrash. First time I hear it, just like you. She sees Yitzchak, his head was facing down. She fell off the camel. Tach! Fine. You have to know who says this answer. The Riva says this answer. He's the Baalei Tosafot, very, very special rabbi. Says the rabbi, what is the secret? You have to know something. A child is an extension of his father. Which part of his father is the child? The Gemara says the child is the feet of the father, the thighs of the father. Bera, yeah, a child, kar'eh de'avua. He's the feet of his father. He's an extension of his father. Just like the feet pick you up, so through the feet, your child is the power for a father to go up. Now you have to know something.
You're talking about son or daughter.
Son, daughter also. Now King Solomon says like this: whatever you have the power to do, you should do. Because tomorrow when you come to Gan Eden, there's no maaseh, there's no more action. There's no more cheshbon, there's no more wisdom in the place that you're going there. What does this mean? Rashi says you have power now to fulfill mitzvot. When your neshama leaves, you're done. And you have to know something, Rabotai. In Gan Eden, a person has two options. One is he's going to be a holech, and one is he's going to be an omed. An angel is always omed. Maze omed? Standing. A person, when he's alive, is a holech. He's always going. What's the difference? You have the power to grow, to improve, to be better. You're holech. Yeah? In Gan Eden, you have the power to be omed or holech. How? If a person dies and then he goes to Gan Eden, it's good. But he's omed, he's constant. But
constant? Like he's always.
He's constant, he's steady. You're on level 86, you stay on level 86. Okay. He's omed. But you know something? It says, "V'natati lechem mehalchim." I can make you a mehalech. Ben haomdim ha'ele, around other people who are omed. How? Says in Gan Eden, says the Khatam Sofer. Ki hatzadik acharei moto. A tzaddik, when he dies, he's not able to grow anymore. Hofshim ha'mitzvot, he's free. He doesn't have to go to nets. He doesn't have to go to shaharit. He doesn't have to put on tefillin. He doesn't have to eat kasher. He doesn't have to do anything. In Gan Eden, you don't have to do anything. No more mitzvot. You're free. Patur. Says the Khatam Sofer. Omnam. However, if you left students and you left children in this world who are privately, he's going to be, you know something? Feet. He's going to have feet to move. He's growing in Gan Eden. Why? Because he left children who continue the path of Torah. Because he left children who are growing in Avodat Hashem. He's olech, he's growing. Why? Because his children are the upkeep of the father. And you have to know something. The Rabbi Mibels, he says, you should teach your children to speak in words of Torah. Why? You're going to live long. You know what it means? Says the Rabbi from Bells, in Shamayim, you're going to be like you on Aretz. In Aretz, you're a holech, you can grow. When you teach your students, you teach your children. In Gan Eden, you're going to have the power to grow. You're going to be every year dividends, growing. Why? Because you're not an omed, you're holech. And that's why it says, by the way, Hashem loves Avraham Avinu. Why? Because Avraham is going to command his children. What is he going to command them? He's going to command them to be righteous, do tzedakah, do ma'asim tovim, behave yourself. That's why God says, I love Avraham. But if you didn't leave a good child, then you Dunsky. You're Omed.
So God forbid Yitzchak wasn't like...
Then it would be very bad. Now listen to this. It says David HaMelech laid. It doesn't say David HaMelech died. It says, by David it says, Vayishkav David. What does it Vayishkav? Oh look. They didn't say Vayamot David. Vayishkav David. Whereas by Yoav, what does it say by Yoav? Vayamot Yoav. Yoav died. What's the difference between Vayishkav and Vayamot? Says the Rabbi. This is a Gemara. Why when it speaks about David, it says Shchiva, and when it speaks about Yoav, it says Mita. He says David hiniach ben kemoto. David left a child who was righteous like him. That's why when he died, it's not death. He's laying down. He's still alive. He's still moving. Yoav didn't leave a righteous child. He died. Katbish al Israel. Finished. No more. Now you have to know something. It says Yaakov Avinu was about to die. He calls his son Yosef, and he tells him, Yosef, do you love me? Yeah. Do you really love me? Yeah. Can I borrow? No, I'm kidding. You really love me? Yeah. Okay. Put your hand by my thigh. Why do you need to put your hand by my thigh?
That's I never could understand.
That's what happened.
Huh?
I never could understand why to put in my hand.
Because you're my thigh, Yosef. You're my continuation. You're my ha'amada. You're my feet. Without you, Yaakov says, I'm nobody. I cannot walk in Gan Eden. I'm going to be Omed. How I die, that's how I'm going to
Not
remain.
all 11 kids, but him.
Why, Yosef?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Don't leave me in Egypt. What does Egypt represent? Egypt represents Amidah. Egypt represents you're not growing. You're difficult. You're stuck. You're in clay. You're in concrete. That's Egypt. Don't leave me in Egypt. Take me out of Egypt. And what? Take me to the burial of my fathers. V'shachavti im avotai. I will lay with my fathers. What is I will lay? It doesn't say I will die and bury. No, I will lay. Why lay? Because I'm not dead yet. Yaakov Avinu is not dead. Why are you not dead? Because a dead person's omed. I'm not omed. When you, Yosef, and the brothers behave. When you behave, I'm not an omed. I'm yashen. I'm lying down. I'm still alive. And that's why, by the way, we have to finish. It says, לכן כאשר הבטיח לו יוסף למלא אחרי בקשתו, he says, ויאמר אנוכי אעשה כדבריך, ויאמר he said to him, הישבע לי, swear to me. And he swore to him, and Yaakov Avinu bowed toward the head. Al Rosh Hamitah. Why was Yaakov happy? That all of his children were tzaddikim. Because a child is the feet of his father, and a person's considered dead when he didn't leave a righteous child into the world. Now you have to know something. In our world, our main mission is to let the mind overpower the body. That's why what's on top? The mind is on top, because your main mission is your mind is to connect to Gan Eden. Your mind is to connect to Olam Haba. Your mind is to connect to mitzvot. God put your mind on top. In Olam HaEmet, the head comes upside down. The feet are up and the head is down. Why? Because over there, you know, their main power is when you come to Gan Eden, your feet. Who are your feet? Your children. And their thoughts are about us. They're connected to us. Fajalas, to do mitzvot. Behave yourself. And when you behave, your parents could be in Gan Eden 50 years already. You behave yourself, you give them feet. They can walk in Gan Eden. You give them opportunity for growth in Gan Eden.
So that's why it's horrible upside down?
That's why it was upside down.
That applies to the boys only?
Everyone.
Well, the girls can get feet too?
What about girls?
Also. Girls also go to Gan Eden. Sometimes better than boys. Now he says like this. There was a rabbi of Yosef, he died. And he went and he saw what's going on in Gan Eden, and he came back. He was alive again. I guess he had a clinical death. And they told him, Rabbi Yosef, what did you see? His father asks him. He says, Olam hafuch raiti. I saw an upside down world. Elyonim lemata. Simple meaning. The ones who are over here, Armani, Gucci, big shots. Yeah. Okay. In Gan Eden, klum. Welfare. Nobody. Why? Doesn't come to synagogue. Doesn't give to tzedakah. He's nasty to everybody. He's not honest in business. The guy's a crook. Yeah, this guy, klum, yeli, if he gets into Gan Eden, he's going to schuld up a shkulskadrit, yeli. He's going to be in the welfare department. And then you had another guy, Badbach. Everybody's like, I feel so bad for this guy, Badbach, look at him. Everything's so prastoy, look at him, what a guy. Nobody takes him seriously. The guy in Gan Eden, God says, you're going to be very high in Gan Eden. Why? It's an upside down world because he was humble. While that guy was gordi. This guy with his millions, takoy, zdravstvuyte. Sometimes he doesn't even say zdravstvuyte. Kacha. You know, he's a big shot. You have to know, says Rabbi Yosef, I saw an upside down world. Elyonim lemata. The ones you thought were nobodies in Gan Eden are going to be somebody. But says the rabbi a different chidush. You know what it means, Elyonim lemata? That what? Olam hapuch raiti, Elyonim lemata tachlim lemata. Klomar hasiba sheholchim sham im harosh lemata. You know why their heads are down? Elyonim lemata, because the Elyonim, the ones who are in Gan Eden, all of their she'ifa is lemata. They care about what's going on here. Behave yourself, Adam. Please, you're going to help me, says your babula and zedura. Why? Because we have the power to give them strength. They brought us into the world. They raised us well. If we practice what they said to us, we elevate them. Sheifatam shel hayonim lezakot lemitzvot. B'zchut hatachtonim. In our zechut, they have good. Gan Eden. Tachtonim lemala. We the tachtonim. Klomar, התחתונים שנמצאים בעולם הזה, כל כוונתם למעלה. We want Hashem to help us. We cannot without Hashem. The Yetzer Hara is very strong. It's chazak me'od. Try fight with the Yetzer Hara. He's going to karate each other. You have to be very strong. You need to pray, Hashem, help me with my Yetzer Hara. Lo echol. Help me. Yeah, our sheifot are lemala, and that's why Rabbi Yosef tells him, no, olam barur ra'ita. You saw the true world. You think it's upside down, but you saw the true world. Why? Olam hazeh, it's an illusion. It's all an illusion. You want to know the true world? The true world is your mind has to be up. That means you connect to the worlds above. Mr. Rafi's a smart man. He's going to go sell something beseder. But first, I want to connect to spiritual things. First, I want my head to be higher than my body. then already when I make money, it's not dangerous. But if my body's in control, and then I make money, what's it going to lead you to?
Nothing.
Nothing good's going to come from it. If your mind is stronger than your body, then you could get money, no problem. Sports is a shravek. But if his body's in control, then money's going to ruin him. He's going to go where he's not supposed to go. He's going to do what he's not supposed to do. Why? Because the body. So that's why Hashem put our heads on top. Yiratzon, that we realize our responsibility, that we live in Olam Hazeh, we walk, we can grow. In Olam HaEmet, there's no more growth. However you die, finish, game over. That's going to be your level forever. Unless
You have a good son.
you have a good son, and he's going to be your only bailout. Yeah, to save Papa in Gan Eden. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Amen.